Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be working on my Mustang. We are out here early in the morning and we're going to be doing two main things today. Number one, we're going to change the oil, so we have everything we need for that, and I'll explain that going through it. And also we're going to be taking the seats out, and there's a bracket that got rusty on both sides, and we're going to I guess kind of grind that down and sand it. So first off, we're going to change the oil, so we're going to get into that right now. Okay, so as you can see, we have this thing, well, we have rhino ramps in front of the wheels because we were going to jack it up, but we're not super comfortable jacking this up. We have a set of rhino ramps that we're just going to, pull it up on, and that will allow us to get it high enough to change the oil. Yeah, you're good. Okay, so now that this thing is a squatter, I'm gonna go ahead and take the oil filler cap off, and then that'll kind of work as like a vent when we get the oil out of the bottom. So we're gonna take that out, and there's not a whole bunch of clearance underneath here. If you see, this is a weird way to show it, but if I try to go under here, you can see, still kind of scary. Also, this shows like the worst part of this car, which is right there, but there's not a whole lot of room still, but it should be enough. So now we're gonna go ahead and drain the oil. Okay, so the products that we'll be using to do this is, number one, something to drain the oil into, because that oil is gonna be really dirty and you do not want that going on your driveway, because that will stain your driveway. We have a kind of a funnel, so we'll use that to pour our oil in, our fresh oil. And this Mustang takes 6 quarts of oil, so we have 5 quarts, and we have 1 quart equals 6. And a lot of times what you do for higher mileage vehicles is you have 5 quarts of normal oil, and then you use a 1 quart of oil additive, but this doesn't have high enough miles to do that because it's still relatively low. So we are going to just use 6 quarts of normal synthetic oil. And here is the stuff right here if you want to find it at your local. I think we got this from AutoZone. And also we have a oil filter right here. This is the number on it, and we need to replace that whenever you change the oil. And then also we have a 8mm socket and a 15mm socket. Oh my gosh, you hear my voice right now. So we're gonna go under and start doing that now. There we go. And then in a second, once it's drained, we're gonna check how clean it was, just because it's interesting to see. I think it should be not too bad, but you really never know. So after like an hour and a half of letting that thing drain, that's a joke, it took a while to drain, we put the cap back on, and now it is time to start putting the new oil in. And here is the old oil. There's like no metal chunks or shavings in this at all, which is great. And it is pretty dirty though. Under the car it looked okay. It does not look super great in light, so I'm glad we got that out because it has not been changed in a while. So if you loosen the bolt here, and there's another one over there, this plastic shield falls down, and then you're able to change the oil filter. So I say we, my dad is unscrewing those right now. And there we go. All right, so getting under here, the oil filter is, I can't like get down there to show you. The oil filter, there it is right there. So we need to reach up with a tool and get that, because it takes a special wrench to get that off. You can see that's actually a pretty cool angle, and then that will drain into our pan right here, but it is a tight fit down there as always though. All right, there's a church really close to our house, and they just started music, so I'm going to explain a little bit. I think inside, because I think this music is a little bit loud when they start singing, but it's pretty loud. So before they start singing, I'm gonna try to explain this. And we got the oil filter out, but if you see, it got a little bit mangled here. And that's because the person that put the filter in last actually used the filter wrench to tighten it when you're supposed to only hand tighten it. So it was way too tight, and we actually punctured it trying to get it out, and it did start to leak oil. But we did get it out, and we put the new one in hand tight. And I'm gonna stop filming because they're very loud. Okay, so it is later in the day, and I'm gonna start working on getting the seats out. I'm gonna start on the passenger side, and if you're wondering why my Mustang is so dirty, it's because it's spring and there's pollen from all these trees, and all our cars look so bad. So I'm keeping it clean. I'm like wiping it down every day, but it's too much. So I'm hoping the trees will stop dumping pollen on my brand new Mustang, or to me, Mustang. So you can see right there, my main problem is these brackets right here are rusty, and it's not that big of a deal, but just everything in this interior is like pristine. That's the only thing that's not, so I want to fix that. And I watched a video on how to get these seats out. You just take the bolts out, but these do have power seats on just the driver's side. Passenger side, apparently there's still a plug because just like weight capacity and stuff. I don't exactly know, but you have to unbolt it, unplug it, and I'm gonna take you guys through that process. And then I guess we're gonna grind that where the rust is, and then we're gonna spray paint it black so it'll match the interior. So we were thinking about blue, but we just thought, no, I'm just kidding. So time to take those out. All right, there's a bolt here and here in the rear of the seat, or behind the seat, and you just pull the seat forward and then it reveals those. Okay, so we got these seats out of the Mustang, and just unplug the wiring underneath. If you shine a flashlight down there, it's pretty easy to figure out what you need to unplug and how to unplug it. Couldn't find any videos online on how to do it, but I figured it out pretty easily. The carpet underneath the seats is kind of messy, but I'm gonna clean that up, clean the carpet before we put this back in. But as you can see, this is the main problem right here, how rusty that is, and that's just ridiculous sitting in that nice interior. So we're gonna fix that up. We're trying to figure out the right products to use right now. Also, I found it kind of funny because we found this under the seat. This is an Xbox 360 controller battery. Kind of funny to find under there in a car. Apparently someone was playing Xbox in their car, probably not. But now it's time to fix this up. Okay, so a quick look at the dirty carpet after we got the seats out. You can see it's a little bit worse than it originally looked like, but it's really not that bad considering it's a used car. I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum all this out. You can use a shop vac, but I'm just gonna use a Dyson. I'm hoping it'll do a good job. And then we're going to use this right here, this Meguiar's carpet and upholstery cleaner. And this just is a foam that you spray. I'll show me doing it. And also I'm just gonna use this brush to, brush it and clean it. So hopefully this goes pretty well. But it's never gonna get done if I keep talking to this camera. The Dyson wasn't doing the job, so we're gonna switch to the shop vac. Also, my voice is very crackly for some reason. All right, so I'm in here working on this. And just an example of how you do this, in case you're wondering. You take this stuff, you spray it, like you can see, there's a stain right here, stains all in there. Now this is not gonna 100% like make it disappear, but you just spray a good amount of it in there. And then you take a brush, just start scrubbing it. And then you rub it off, just dry it with a microfiber cloth is what I'm using. Then you can see, looks a lot better. So as you saw, it's a little bit of work to do that, so I got to do the whole vehicle. Yay. So I will show you guys at least when I'm done with the driver's side. Okay, so we did this mat. I think I stepped on it right there, but it looks somewhat better. Down here, I really, to be honest, I can't tell that much of a difference, and I sat in here and my butt has like a rubber coating feeling on it. But I cleaned it up and it looks I was gonna say a lot better, but somewhat better. It's a lot cleaner on this side, so I won't have to do as much there, but it's a long process, and I don't know if it's really worth all the effort, but I gotta clean it just for peace of mind. And I think where you see it, where the seats don't cover, I think you will see a little bit of a difference. So it's pretty good. Also, a spot where it made a big difference, I'm trying to maneuver my long legs through here. You can see how dirty it is right there. I haven't done that yet, but I did test right here, and it was it was like this right here, all here, and it fixed all that up. So for really bad stains, it'll get about 50% of them, but yeah, little difference there. But I'm gonna finish that side, I'll update you guys, and then we need to start working on the seats, which that'll be interesting. All right, guys, interior update after getting the carpet completely done. The driver's side, there's a big stain under the seat. You can't get that out, and it's been worn up there. If you look right there, it doesn't look too good. But other than that, it cleaned up okay. The main, like the protection mat, looks great and everything, but just that right there kind of takes away from it. But once you get the seat back on, you won't be able to see that, and the interior will look great again. This side, let me move up here. This side turned out great. You know where it was all stained right here? That is 100% better, and literally you pretty much can't tell it was there. This wall looks better, and everything else looks pretty good. So this side turned out just great. This side, not so much, but again, you won't be able to see that. So pretty good, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Now it is time to clean up, and before we can put the seats in, we have to fix the whole rusty portion on it. Can't think of the name right now because I've been working out here forever. So now it's time to go try to fix that. And it's a bracket, just remember that. All right, so we have the seat up on our workbench that you can tell has been worked on for many years. This rusty bracket is the main problem. It's also a little bit rusty there. Other than that, like up here and stuff, I don't really know if we need to worry about that too much, because you absolutely never see that. Here it looks fine, so mainly here. And then the other one, which is that's the bad one right there. So we're gonna start, kind of practice on this, get an idea of how to properly do it, and then we're gonna work on that bad one down there. All right, so we got it cleaned up. You can see there's a little bit on it still, but it's enough where we should be fine. So we're gonna spray it with, I think we're gonna spray it matte because the bar is matte, even though it's a little bit glossy. This is matte. So we're gonna spray that, and we'll see how that goes. All right, we have this one done, and I have a mask on. We have this one done, and it looked great. You really can't even tell. Now it's time to do this one, which is really bad. Alright, so we sanded this down as much as we could. You can see a little bit of the rust there still, but we put some rust primer on it, and then we're gonna spray it. It's not looking too bad. All of it looks pretty good except for that one spot, which is the main spot that I see all the time, but it's fine. So I'm hoping once you put black spray paint on it, it'll kind of blend in, but we need to let that dry first for a while. Okay, so this is the really rusty part right here, and we spray painted it a lot and let it dry overnight. This is the next day, and then we put some putty here that'll harden it and kind of make all those like crevices and rivets from the rust kind of smooth, and then we'll spray paint it on top of this orange, and then it'll hopefully look pretty smooth, and you won't be able to tell when it's in the shadows under the seat. And then also we're going to go ahead and spray paint these bolts right here just so that these look nice and black like that. Okay, here's one last look at the open. Here's my like open interior in the Mustang. There's a lot of room in this when you have all the seats or both the seats out. You can see there's a whole lot of room, but you can't actually drive in it. So we're gonna put the seats back. And what happened was that putty stuff didn't end up working, so we stripped that all off and we just repainted it. So it looks okay. It's gonna be in the shadow, so it's not that big of a deal. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so it didn't clean up perfect by any means, but it's much better than what it originally was. And then, you know, this side turned out pretty good. And then, you know, the back, not really that important, but we spray painted that anyway, and it turned out really well. So now it is time to put the seats back in. All right, seats are back in, and oh no, the AC feels so good. We gotta turn it off for audio purposes, but we got the seats back in, and here, I'll show you the brackets in just a second, but yeah, looks good, and it is all done. Here are the brackets. Can't really show you the back because it gets covered, but right here, ignore the beeping. That's that super rusty bracket, and that's what it looks like now, and it turned out pretty well, if you ask me. Get the key out of here, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and that's just one of the things I'm thinking of doing with this thing. There's not a whole bunch of things that I really can't even do because this thing's in like really good condition. There's a few paint touch-ups we need to do, but I'm just gonna like say some of the things I'm thinking of. Number one, this is a maybe, right here. You see how there are like these spots all over this right here? Well, that is from, of course, the previous owner, and you can't get it out with anything. It's down there, it's everywhere. It's like someone spilled it on this. So what I want to do is take the center console out and the dash out and not replace this plastic, but cover it in vinyl carbon fiber wrap, because I think that looked really good. So that's kind of something I'm thinking of doing. Also, I need to figure out something with this. That could be covered in vinyl wrap too. So that's just something that I need to do because that's bothering me. Another thing I want to do is do a antenna delete, because that antenna sticking up back there just really drives me crazy. So not a short antenna, just a full antenna delete. But I have a solution where I can still get radio if I choose. I'm gonna take the parking brake off. Also, I need to get a new front splitter, so I'm looking at those, and that one's kind of torn up, so I'm looking at getting a cool one, so I need to get one of those and do a video on that. All this stuff I'm talking about is going to be separate videos. And also, I need to get a new key because I only have one of these. I need a second one, so I'm looking at a different kind of key than the stock OEM one. So learning some of the terminology, still have a lot to learn. So we need to get new keys, vinyl wrap, antenna delete, and the front splitter. So that's just things that I'm thinking of doing. This is all done, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. If you guys found this helpful or just enjoyed it, consider going under this video, under the like button. You'll see my channel icon. If you click that, I'll bring you to all my other videos. They're pretty interesting, and if you like what you see there, consider hitting subscribe, because you get to see all my new videos, and it really does help me out. So thank you guys for watching, and remember, life is like a movie. Make it interesting. Peace out, guys.